answer.
Right. I had an unfortunate incident in my life. I'm raising two grandchildren. One is 13 and one is 12. And first thing I ask them when they come home, I said, have you did your homework? Then they do their homework, and my granddaughter asked me the other day, she said, I want you to go to the school with me to meet my teachers. We have an open house. Well, I told her me and her grandmother both are going to come, because at least she wants us there, you know. And it goes back to what you're saying, but the problem with the 15-year-old having a child, she doesn't have that knowledge. Somebody has to even raise her all over again. And that's becoming a big problem in our society.
It's a very big problem.
You know, and because she hasn't lived long enough to really acquire the knowledge that and especially as she haven't been taught it at her home, you know. So that's some issues, and I'm sensitive to that. Another issue that I believe that you haven't mentioned it, but you're sensitive to it, I can tell by your philosophy, is that this hurricane that happened when a national disaster.
Absolutely.
And what is your feelings on that?
Well, you know, let me tell you, in regards to the response from the government, I think they kind of started a little too slow,
right.
But I think we're where we need to be right now. The most important thing is that the money gets to the people who need the money.
Right.
And that you get those people that don't seek to fly to Mississippi to take advantage of the situation. Not the fame aspect, but the free opportunity of getting things. In terms of the people, you know, I pray. I've done my contributions through the Red Cross. My sister was semi-affected, God bless her soul. She came out okay. My sister Pat, who is in Biloxi, Mississippi, she's a director of a hospital there. She lost some shingles, got a couple of cracks in her house. But for the most part, they have a generator. For the most part, they weathered okay.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes things happen, but there is a God, and He's a good man. Right. And I believe that one day all those cities will be rebuilt better than they were, stronger than they were. The people will be closer than they were, and they'll understand one thing. This wasn't a hurricane that affected just the whites, the blacks, the Spanish. No. This affected everybody.
Everybody.
And we have to be prepared here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I don't know if you're right. You're 100%. I'm glad you made the statement that you made, that it wasn't a hurricane that affected a certain segment of the population. It affected everyone. And I was very, very proud of our president when he made that speech to them. I don't know if you
I watch the president speak every time.
Yeah, he accepted the responsibility.
Absolutely.
And then he also he touched on a subject that's very sensitive in the whole issue. He said that those states have a record of racial insecurity, and what he was trying to do, not point the finger, but just rebuild and get it back on an even keel, where all the citizens of those states would prosper and be able to prosper.
Absolutely.
And he wasn't pointing fingers. He said, and that takes quite a man to do that. But
exactly.
I feel real good. And then he eased a lot of people's minds he actually made commitments that what he was going to do as long as he was president. Words of support. What would you tell that young man? No, let me ask you a question. I'll make it a little better than that. The young men and women that come apply for your position with your company, your security company, when they approach you, I know you do interviews. When you see them and they're not dressed right, or they don't know how to use the King's English, what kind of advice do you give them?
The advice I give them is the advice I'd give anybody that's not basically marketing themselves for success.
Okay.
You have to market yourself for success.
Right.
When I come in contact with a person, I won't cast judgment, but I'll acknowledge how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they're dressed. Are they organized? Are they professional?
Right.
I will never tell them unless, in this case, they're applying for a job for me. So now I will. These are the advice I'd give them. I had a guy that came in last week. He had baggy jeans down to his rear.
Right.
He had 2 earrings in his ear, a baseball cap. He was chewing gum. He was late and had a friend. And I talked to him and I said, look, I'm going to talk to you like a brother. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you that the reason why you're not able to get from A to B is because you're setting yourself up for doors to be closed.
Right.
Now, I'm gonna tell you what most people won't. They'll just take your application, crunch it up when you leave, and throw it in the trash.
Right.
This is what you need to do. Go home, look in the mirror, and say, am I giving myself a fair share at the age of 23 to get where I want to get in life, to provide for my family, provide for a kid, to take care, help my grandparents or my family? One, put a nice dress shirt on, put a nice pair of pants on, a nice pair of shoes, make sure it matches, brush your teeth, comb your hair nicely, take off a hat, don't chew gum while you're in an interview, write your application out, fill it out with all your information, come prepared, and then when you ever meet somebody, you always want to look them eye to eye and address them as ma'am or sir, and extend your hand with a handshake.
That's it.
Very simple steps that people don't take every day, but that's why they don't get anywhere.
Right.
I mean, I've been very blessed. I've been in an area where I met some powerful business people, all races, all creeds, all religions. They accepted me, I accepted them. They educated me to become who I am today.
Let me explain something to you.
Yes, sir.
The reason, we got 5 minutes, but I have to say this. The reason they accepted you, you were presentable to them. You handle yourself just like you're speaking. I had the fortunate, I was very fortunate to go high up in the political circles. They used to fly me all over the country for grand openings for new Air Force weapons. Okay. And in the process, I met the vice president, I met Bob Dole, I actually sit in meetings with them, but they wouldn't have accepted me if I would have had an earring in my ear, talking about yo bro, chewing gum, talking at special meetings, but they accepted me the way I presented myself, not so much, same way with you, not so much your knowledge, but they want you to have knowledge too. The thing of it is, we can't expect as young men and young women, and I try every time I get an opportunity, over the pulpit or one-on-one basis, I'll explain to young people, when you tell a senior citizen, not only a senior citizen, anybody that you meet in your life, when you say yes, sir, no, sir, that makes a dramatic impact on that, because the first thing that person thinks, they're mannerable.
Absolutely.
They're mannerable. A mannerable person can be taught. If he doesn't know the trade, you would, if one of those young brothers come to you and they had a suit on and a tie and they were well groomed, and they were articulate in their speech.
I'll train him. He'll be working in a week. Yeah,
but see, you want a person, because he'll actually enhance your company.
Exactly.
We have to get away from the idea that you owe me something because I'm black. We got 2 more minutes.